So I wanted to come on here real quick and ask for your help. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. I keep track of Robert Garcia's training record. Robert Garcia is out of Moreno Valley, and he got Trainer of the Year last year in 2024. And I kept track of his record that year. I ended up being 77 fights, 70 wins, 7 losses, no draws. And I kept track of kept track of it this year as well. This year he had a total of 85 fights. He had 75 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw, 1 no contest, and 1 DQ. And I want to ask for your help from my audience, from anybody that watches this video. If you know the list of fighters for other trainers in boxing, write it in the comments. Today in the morning, I woke up and I started a new list for the Diaz brothers out in the Coachella Valley in Indio. And then I started a Excel spreadsheet or a Google Doc, whatever you want to call it. I started it for Manny Robles out of Los Angeles. I'd like to keep track of more. I'd like to keep track of others like Rudy Hernandez and maybe Inui's father, who's probably going to get Trainer of the Year for having his 2 sons as world champions. But I want to challenge myself, but I do need help. I do need help from you guys. I've been doing Robert's record probably for a good, my best guess, 7, 8, 9 years. So I kind of, his list kind of evolves, and I do most of my research using Instagram. But the truth is that I don't have a real good tie-in with the with Manny Robles or Joel Diaz. I'd have to I'd have to strategically find a way to get a list, and that's why I'm asking my audience if you know. For example, this morning when I got on BoxRec. BoxRec is a huge help for me. I use it to identify which fights are coming up for Robert's stable. But in using BoxRec, I noticed that there's a fight card in the Coachella Valley with Golden Boy. So off the top of my head, I saw that Manny Flores was listed on the fight card. So I started a list for the Diaz brothers, Joel and Antonio Diaz. So, but that's just one fighter that I know that's over there. If you guys could help me create a list of the stable, then when I go through BoxRec trying to update Robert's list, then I can do the same for the Diaz brothers, and I could do the same for Manny Robles. The fighter that grabbed my attention for Manny Robles was Perla Bazaldua, and I have one of her fights from when she was an amateur. So I started a list. I started a Google Doc for Manny Robles, and I forget his really good assistant. I know his last name is Haas, but if you could write that in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. If it's gonna take me a while, maybe I don't get it as accurate as I want it to be this year, but you know, maybe the following year I get it closer and closer. Or maybe I have to drive out there and kind of like what I did with Robert, and drive out there and physically ask them, hey, what's the list of fighters that are on there? So I just wanted to jump on here real quick. Robert already has a dozen fights ready to go for 2026. I wrote them down here. Going Curiel is fighting in Palm Desert on the 16th. On the 17th, there's 4 fighters fighting out of Hemet at a Saboba Casino. Chop Chop, Cuba, Junior Coria, and I don't know if Samuel Contreras is part of his stable, but we'll find out that day. On the 23rd, there's 3 fighters fighting in Long Beach, Barrera, Art Barrera, Saldivar, and Bolo. And on the 23rd, there's a chance that Robert has 2 fighters on the Zufa card. Maybe Misael Rodriguez and Emiliano Cardenas. On the 24th, Ray Murataya defends his IBF super lightweight title versus Andy Cruz. Ray is the only one from the stable on that card. And then on the 30th, Kristek Bazaldua will be fighting in Long Beach. And then on the 31st, Giovanni Santillan from San Diego will be fighting in Puerto Rico. So there's already a dozen fights that Robert already has ready for the first quarter in 2026. But with your help, I could keep track of the Diaz brothers, Manny Robles. In the future, it could be Rudy Hernandez, Abel Sanchez, Freddie Roach, Inui's father. I think his name is Shingo. Tons of fighters, tons of trainers out there in the world that, as far as I know, I use Chat GPT to ask what Robert Garcia's training record was in 2025, and it didn't come up. So it said that normally those numbers aren't accumulated, but it did have the numbers for 2024 when I added up those numbers a year ago. It did have in its record 70 wins and 7 losses, and there's a chance that's off by 1 fight, and I'll have to bring that up to Robert. We'll go over that in the future, but at least you have a ballpark number. So I'd like to do that with the Diaz brothers, Antonio and Joel out of Indio. I'd like to do it with Manny Robles. I know his last name. His assistant's last name is Haas. I think he has like his first name is like a nickname. I have looked at, he's an ex-fighter. I've checked his record in the past. I just can't remember what his name is. I'd have to look it up. But then Freddie Roach would be a good one to do. There's dozens and dozens of coaches, but it's interesting that we have fighter of the year and trainer of the year and knockout of the year, and these people get to vote, but we don't really have statistics on who was the most active and who had the most world title wins, or who even had the most national title wins. So I just want to challenge myself this year to keep track of more, and hopefully with your help, I can start a list of the stables, and then I'll use BotTrek like I do to track Roberts. We can track other fighter coaches as well. So Happy New Year! It is January 6th. It might be the 7th. And I hope you started your New Year's in a good fashion. All right, talk to you soon.